Brian Kohberger's sentencing left the courtroom in heavy silence, but the emotional storm swirling around his family was impossible to ignore. If you're watching this now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of these deep, real-life breakdowns. On July 23, inside a tense courtroom, Brian Kohberger received 4 consecutive life sentences for the 2022 murders of University of Idaho students Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. As the judge delivered the devastating punishment, the eyes of the room shifted to 2 women seated quietly, his mother, Marianne Kohberger, and his sister, Amanda Kohberger. For the first time since his arrest, they were there in person, seeing Brian not just as a family member but now as a confessed killer. Marianne sat still at first, but then slowly, visibly, broke down. She trembled, at times burying her head in her hands, and in one chilling moment, was seen shuddering in disbelief. Amanda remained quieter, holding back tears, stunned by the weight of what was unfolding. The entire courtroom felt their pain, not just of losing someone to prison, but of watching a loved one take lives and then sit in silence with no explanation. Brian, however, remained cold. As the officers escorted him out after sentencing, he didn't look at his mother or sister. He didn't reach for them. He didn't even flinch. He walked out like they weren't even there. It wasn't until court recessed and resumed that he gave them a brief nod and a faint smile, acknowledging them in the most emotionless way possible, a moment that left many in the gallery stunned. No apology. No words. Just a nod. But the day wasn't just about Brian's fate. It was about the families of the victims. Kaylee Goncalves' sister, Olivia, stood strong and delivered a blistering victim impact statement that hit like lightning. She looked Brian straight in the face and didn't hold back. She asked, "How does it feel to know the only thing you failed more miserably at than being a murderer is trying to be a rapper?" Her words cut sharp and clear. She followed with, "Did you recently start shaving or manually pulling out your eyebrows?" And then jabbed again, "Did you truly think your Amazon purchase was untraceable because you used a gift card?" The courtroom listened, frozen, as Olivia continued. She demanded answers he wouldn't give, pressing with words that pierced deeper than any judge's sentence. "If you were really smart, do you think you'd be here right now?" she asked. "What's it like needing this much attention just to feel real?" Her final question left a haunting silence. "You're terrified of being ordinary, aren't you?" The pain, the anger, the disbelief in her voice wasn't just her own, it echoed the grief of all the families in that courtroom. Earlier this month, Brian had pleaded guilty. No trial, no defense, just a flat admission of guilt. He said he killed them. Deliberately. With premeditation. But even then, he didn't offer a reason. Not a single hint of why. No motive. No story. Just silence. That silence spoke louder than any statement he could have made, and it left the families, and the world, with a bottomless pit of unanswered questions. The moment he confessed, all hope for answers dissolved. And while many felt relief that the case reached a conclusion, the silence he kept left the room hollow. The victims' families hoped for closure, but instead received a confession without clarity. A punishment without peace. Following his guilty plea, the Kohberger family issued a rare public statement through their legal representation in Pennsylvania. It was simple but clear. They asked for privacy. They asked for respect. They asked the media and public to refrain from judgment, saying they would not answer questions or give further comment. "We will continue to allow the legal process to unfold with respect to all parties," the statement read. "We ask that you respect our wishes during a difficult time for all those affected." Their statement was short, but it said enough. The family, too, is in ruins. They didn't choose this. They didn't commit these crimes. But they carry the pain of it all. The pain of being connected by blood to a man who admitted to 4 brutal killings. The pain of seeing the names of their son and brother beside those of the victims. The pain of sitting in a courtroom, hearing your son be sentenced to life, not once, but 4 times, and knowing the world sees you through that lens now. Inside that courtroom, there were no winners. No joy. Just grief. From every angle. From every seat. Parents cried for their children. Siblings spoke for the dead. And a mother and sister wept silently for the boy they once knew, now a man forever marked by horror. This wasn't just a sentencing. It was a confrontation with a nightmare that had haunted families, friends, and the public for nearly 2 years. It was the final scene of a tragedy, played out under fluorescent lights and courtroom microphones. And when Brian Kohberger stood up for the last time as a free man, he said nothing. Not to the judge. Not to the families. Not to his own. He just stood and left. That's the story. A story of lives lost, families shattered, and a silence that still lingers long after the gavel dropped. Don't forget to subscribe for more real and raw stories like this one, the kind that dig deep and don't look away.